Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the weekly Wednesday for the Financial Freedom newsletter, where every week, every Wednesday, we delve into something inspirational, motivational, something excerpt taken from the Financial Freedom weekly newsletter. Wherever you are, if you're listening on Spotify, on iTunes, Google, be sure to click the like, subscribe, share, comment. And without ado, let's get into the show. Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. So I started my journey trying to learn about freedom, what it is. Not it just was financial, but it's also time, emotional, and location. And in that sense, I've been scouring the globe, looking for people embodying those types of mindsets, lifestyles, entrepreneurs. So today I have a special guest, McSherry, and she goes by pronoun is she, they, but so fascinating. It's going to be a great conversation on opportunities, mindset, being the architect of your success and engineering your ideal life. So I'll welcome Mel to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for having me.
We connected through Podmatch. It's kind of like the Airbnb of podcasting.
I like to call it the Hinge of podcasting, but in a good way.
Tinder, whatever. So yeah, tell us more about your origin story. I've always been curious how people became who they are, and be a great conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you. So like most entrepreneurs, my journey has been very progressional. I've been in the entrepreneurial space for 13 years now, and I actually grew up in the entrepreneurial space. My father now owns a very successful company that he started at the age of 40. However, my brother and I and my mom survived several very unsuccessful ones. So I already walked into this life with very eyes wide open, I like to say. But I started in the fitness industry. I was a certified personal trainer, did in-home trainings, outdoor boot camps, whole 9 yards. And then when my son was born in 2011, it was just too hard to travel to people's homes. I was married at the time, but his father works for Major League Baseball. He's gone 2 months straight for spring training, works every home game, every other away trip. And our son was born in the middle of the baseball season. So I needed to take a pause and really figure out, now with this new time, new energy or lack thereof as a new caregiver, I needed to find other avenues to make ends meet. And that turned into becoming a VA for an IT company in Dallas, Texas. And I also did some online medical billing. Online medical billing, I will just say, was not where my soul was. That's kind of where my soul went to die, just a little. But I always like to talk about it because there's always those dips and flows, right, in your entrepreneurial journey. And sometimes we need to make decisions that aren't necessarily in alignment with what we want professionally, but it soothes something to where we can have more space and time to think about what we want. And that's exactly what both of those jobs did. It gave me the chance to really think of, okay, now this is my time and energy. What do I want this business to look like? And that led me to joining with a network marketing company and being an online health and fitness coach, which I absolutely loved because I was able to still be in the industry and be home with my son. And funnily enough, I thought I was going to be in the fitness industry till the day I died. And through this network marketing company, I realized that I had a sort of quote unquote formula almost that I naturally got from watching my father's do's and don'ts as I was growing up, that I figured out how I could, utilize my time and energy in a way where I was profitable every day. And I use profitability as threefold. That's mentally, emotionally, and financially. And because I was using this kind of mindset, this framework, I was the top salesperson for our team for many, many, many months in a row. And my leader at the time was, she approached me and said, look, I know you don't really want a team underneath you, but our team is really wondering how are you doing this because of all of these things? Can you just make almost a day in the life of Mel training video so we can just get an insight on how you break up your day? And I thought nothing of it. And I created this video, which went into our new coach boot camp. And all of a sudden, our team's productivity and profitability just exploded. Yeah. And our team ended up being the top 1% of the company in about a year. people wanted to work with me. And all of a sudden, I just had this massively, successful team. And that got the attention of other people within the company that I was with. So I started doing team calls and trainings for them. That got the attention of people outside of my company. And so I quietly started doing team calls and trainings for them. And then fast forward to 2015, I'm in the middle of my divorce and I have one foot in fitness coaching, which is going nowhere because my other foot is, dipping its toe into quote unquote business coaching. And I realized if there was any time to just maneuver into this new area in my life, it's now. And so I ended up through the company I was with getting a year-long internship with John C. Maxwell, who is one of the top business gurus of all time. Through him, I got my international coaching certification, left that company 2016, launched my business coaching business in 2017. And that's completely evolved into now I utilize both spiritual and traditional business development tools to help inspired entrepreneurs honor their lives and be the architect and engineer the success on their terms. And my whole goal is for them to be profitable mentally, emotionally, and financially every single day.
Yeah, that's a wonderful story, and I love how during the how we all these ups and downs and kind of lead us, and sometimes we think it's bad, but it's actually better. So that's and I'm very fascinated with the spiritual side, and that was really interesting about John Maxwell, but you talk about how to be profitable mentally, emotionally, and financially. Yeah, so you were talking about financially, spiritually, emotionally, and our energy. So continue.
Yeah, so it's something that has definitely been a progressional journey for me, like everything else, because it's so easy in the entrepreneurial world to get focused on the money success side, right? Like that's the proof in the pudding, as you can say, oh, I made this 10K a month, or I made 50K off of this talk. And though, yes, money is beautiful, needed, wanted, desired, I have found, because this has been my journey, that when that becomes your true north direction, you lose sight of the really little things that you could find so much instantaneous joy in and motivators to keep you excited about doing what you want to do to create this financial, success. And so I always talk about flipping that hierarchy of needs and looking at your time and energy as, okay, what can I do to feel profitable today? Like, what's really going to make me excited about today? And if you wake up and you initially thought, okay, I'm going to reach out to 5 clients and I'm going to record 6 episodes, I'm going to do this, and you're waking up with no energy, then you have full say to go, you know what? This is not how I need to be profitable today. So we're not here to be productive. We're here to be profitable. And to look at your list and look at what are the things on the list that matches the energy that you have. Reschedule all those things that you want to do. It's okay. And match the time and energy that you have, because you're still knocking things off of your, quote unquote, to-do list. And you're also doing it within the time and energy that you have. So you always end the day, it's not all day, every day. We're humans, right? I'm a primary caregiver to a son. Things can go to hell in a handbasket in a minute, but it gives you a little bit more control of when it does. You ask yourself, okay, now how much time and energy do I have? What on my list matches that? So you are continuously doing what you need to do in the time and energy that you have. And therefore the money just comes because you are feeling in control, you're getting more excited, and you're staying motivated even when you're in those kind of harder moments.
Yeah. I love that. And what's interesting is a lot of entrepreneurs, or just they're in this like hustle grind mode, and it's actually fallen out of favor. So tell us kind of like this relationship between financial success and spiritual success, emotional success, and running a business.
So I always say it starts with you. And that's why I utilize a spiritual tool called human design. And for those who don't know, human design is a system that was created with 5 internal systems inside of it. So it's astrology, I Ching, chakras, quantum physics, and Kabbalah. And what it does is it shows you your energetic blueprint, because I found for myself and for those that the clients that I have, actually, I think almost everybody in general, we get so inundated with everything we think we need to do or who we think we need to be. And instead of checking with ourselves first of where our strengths lie, where our energy lies, what are the ways that we process and, utilize information. We're just grabbing and copying and pasting anybody that has achieved anything remotely close to what we want to achieve. And though those systems and those formulas have a place, where I think we've lost ourselves is instead of asked ourselves, how can we utilize this formula for ourselves? Like I said, we just copy and paste. And all of a sudden, we don't feel in control. We don't feel connected anymore. And even the money that we're making doesn't feel like ours because we're still feeling like we are being somebody else. And so when you really come back to who you are, how you're designed, what you want, and then from there, understand how to customize the resources that you have or how to ask for the help and resources that you're looking for, then all of a sudden things flow a lot easier. And therefore, money just seems like it kind of just flies in because you are, again, in an alignment. You're doing things the way that you want to do them. And you're able to connect and communicate that to others, and less of this overwhelm and more of just really being intentional and actionable in your business.
Yeah. And I love that because it's like the way you focus on the energy and explain like because we're a lot of entrepreneurs and clients, they're focused on this, they're on this scarcity mindset where it's like scarce resources. This idea of tuning into the energy, letting go, and allowing that energy to come back to you and kind of activating that. Explain that to the audience.
Yeah. So again, in human design, another reason why I love it is it just gives you how you are able to take that information, as I said before, and hone in that energy. Because when you understand your type, your strategies, it just gives you so much insight into, again, the control that you have. I always love to say that you have everything. And this isn't my quote. I just want to say that. But I found this quote somewhere and I don't know who said it first, but I utilize it and love it. And that quote is, you have everything inside of you to answer the call of your soul. You just have to find it. And it's that to where, again, it's coming into you. You have so many resources already inside of you. And though those may be hard to find because you have so much noise around you, finding someone or a space or a network or group of people that can give you that space to soundboard, to discover really who you are, that's where that shift can tend to happen. And it is easy to get caught up in hustle. I completely did. I drank that Kool-Aid for about 8 years, like, to be completely honest. And it takes some time to reprogram our brains. But honestly, that is one of the things, that's why I think knowing your human design or something along those lines, a tool like that, is so important because it's you. So as a guide, I don't come into a space saying, I have this formula. These are your 6 foundations, blah, blah, blah. It is, okay, I see you. I hear you. Let's look at your chart. Let's see what you want to accomplish and what traditional business tools can we then like siphon in to give that some structure that is based around you. So the more that us as entrepreneurs can honor who we are and how we like to work, and less of, what's Instagrammable, what is marketable, what is all those things, we are really going to change as a collective and become more of a community and less of this like capital.
Yeah, I always joke, capitalism, you can bring a lot of good, but if it's like capitalism for your selfish desires, which what our world has turned into, it's time to. But this is fantastic. One final question before we let the audience find out how to reach you and contact you. What's your best practice for combining spiritual and traditional business tools in your guidance?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say for me personally, as I've stared at my deck of oracle cards and crystals all around me, it's honestly finding a routine for you matches, again, your time and energy, and making those a priority. Prioritization is so important. And what you prioritize is completely up to you. So I always tell people, there's a lot of talk out there like, oh, you have to have a morning routine. Well, some people aren't morning people. So first, when are you feeling the most connected to yourself and the most grounded? And how can you make that pocket of time something that is yours consistently, that you can tune into yourself, check into yourself, whatever that looks like. If it's meditation, beautiful. If it's a dance party in your kitchen, score. Whatever it is to just connect you into the day, to check into yourself, your energy, and then from there, make the decisions that you need to make on how you want to be profitable that day.
Yeah, I love that. How can people contact you, follow you, and reach out to you?
Yeah, so the best ways to get to know me a little better, I always say, is to respectfully stalk me on Instagram. And my handle is at Mel_McSherry. My website is Mel McSherry. And I also host a podcast. So if you want to get to know more about me and my guests, the podcast is called More Than Just, and that is on Apple and Spotify.
Yeah, and let's thank for the audience. Let's thank Mel for coming onto the podcast, dropping tons of alpha, a lot of knowledge and wisdom. And be sure to follow her on Instagram. All her resources will be in the links and show notes. And but again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but thanks for tuning in and thanks for coming onto the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Christopher.
I hope you really enjoyed that wonderful, inspirational, motivational piece. Again, wherever you are listening, if you liked it, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We're on everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Audible. And without much ado, be sure to thank this show's sponsors, and we'll see you next week.